In this video, we're going to talk about factoring, and we're going to start first with what's called the greatest common factor. The first step in any factoring problem is to look for the greatest common factor, known as the GCF. A GCF is the largest monomial you can divide evenly into all terms of a polynomial. Let's look at the first example, 4x squared minus 6x plus 8. Looking at the three terms, I see that there is no variable that I can find in all three terms. But I do notice that 4, 6, and 8 all have a common factor, and that is the number 2. So I'm going to divide each of these by the number 2. Now that greatest common factor I'm going to need to include in my answer, because when I'm done, I should be able to take my answer, multiply it together, and get back the original problem. So let's take the first term, 4x squared divided by 2. Well, 4 divided by 2 is 2, so I have 2x squared. Minus 6 divided by 2, which is 3, and I still have my x. And then 8 divided by 2 gives me 4. So at this point, what I have is 2 times 2x squared minus 3x plus 4. And by multiplying that through, I should get my original answer back. Again, that's how I can easily, quickly check my work. Now let's factor the greatest common factor in another example. So I'm going to look at this one, and I do see that there is a variable in all three of these terms. I see an x cubed, x squared, and an x in the third one. Now the largest amount of variables I can take out is whatever the smallest exponent is. So the largest I can divide into 15x is going to be x. Otherwise, I would end up with negative exponents. Now I also notice that 5, 10, and 15 all have a common factor of 5. So I'm going to be dividing each of these terms by 5x. That's going to be my greatest common factor. So that would be put on the outside of my parenthesis. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. X cubed divided by x, 3 minus 1, leaves me 2, x squared. The next one, I have negative 10 divided by 5, which will give me 2, and x squared divided by x, 2 minus 1, gives me a single x. And my last term, 15 divided by 5 is 3, and x divided by itself, anything over itself, becomes 1, and 3 times 1 is 3. And so here I can stop. I now have my greatest common factor times what's left, and if you multiply these two together, you would get the original answer. Now we're going to do one more example. 2a cubed b squared minus 8a squared b plus 10ab. Now if we take a look at this one, I can see that 2, 8, and 10 have a common number. They're all divisible by 2. So 2 is going to be part of my greatest common factor. Now let's take a look at the letters. Let's look at the a's. A cubed in the first one, a squared in the second, and a in the third. So I can divide all three of these by at least a single a. Now let's look at the b's. B squared in the first one, a single b in the second, and a single b in the third. So there's a b in all three. So I can also take out a single b. So again, just to show you visually, you are dividing each of these by 2ab. So if you need to write them down as I am, you can. It's not required. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. A cubed divided by a is a squared. B squared divided by b is b. Next term, negative 8 over 2 gives me negative 4. A squared divided by a gives me a. And b divided by itself, again, gives me the whole number 1. So 1 times anything is itself. Next term, 2 into 10 goes 5. I notice here that the a's cancel and the b's reduce. They both reduce to 1. So I'm left with 2ab times, in parentheses, a squared b minus 4a plus 5. Now you try. Your example is 3c to the 5th d to the 4th minus 30c squared d plus 15c. So pause the video now and try this problem out, and then turn it back on when you're complete to see how you did on your answer. Let's see how you did. So in this case, I see that the number 3 goes into both 3, 30, and 15. So my GCF is going to include the number 3. I do see there's a c to the 5th, a c squared, and a c. So I can take a c out of all three of these. The highest will be a single c. Now let's look at the d's. D to the 4th in the first one, d in the second one, but there is no d in the third term. Therefore, it's not a common factor in all three terms, and I cannot factor it out. So the d's are going to stay as they are. So let's go through and divide by our 3c. So in the first one, we have 3 divided by 3 is 1. C to the 5th divided by c gives me c to the 4th. And again, we're left with the d to the 4th. And then 30 divided by 3 is 10. C squared divided by c is c. And again, we're left with the d. And 15 divided by 3 is 5. And again, c divided by itself is 1. So 5 times 1 is 5. So we are finished. That is our problem. We must include the greatest common factor when we're factoring, because we should be able to multiply that final answer together and get the original answer back.